Welcome to the Burton Ballers. Ain't got no time for no stallers, yeah.
We are the risers, we're not the fallers. Our channel is growing wider and taller.
Yeah, we're here to give you the news about your dear beloved Blues, yeah.
So if you like this YouTube channel, like, subscribe and turn on that bell.
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of
Burton Ballers. Okay, we're going to do the good, bad, indifferent, or good, bad, average, maybe we'll call it. So, what a good performance, still buzzing after yesterday's win. But I must say that we obviously won the game, but Liverpool won the League. Yeah, that's obvious. But the way that the media are covering it today, it was like there wasn't a game yesterday. Everything's Liverpool, Liverpool, Liverpool.
Remember who won it for them.
Yeah, exactly.
We could have just thrown the game.
Yeah, and nobody's talking about the excellent performance of Frank, the masterclass. I thought his tactics were spot on yesterday. Not enough mention about that. So I've just gone off. Don't watch any TV today because it's all Liverpool. If you want to watch Chelsea related stuff, you know what to do.
Watch this channel and watch our other videos. And like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so we know if I want to make a video.
That's right.
And share this video.
Yeah. So anyway, into it. Okay, let's start with keeper Kepa. What do you say?
I put him in high average because he didn't really do anything bad, but the goal was just brilliant. The Kevin De Bruyne goal was just it was good. It went top bin, so nothing Kepa could really have done.
Yeah, I put him at a medium average, to be honest, because if he made that mistake with a kick which nearly led to a goal when he kicked it straight at a Manchester City player. He was okay, but he still gives our defence a bit of shaky moments. And even with a free kick, it was a brilliant goal, as you said. But you know what I'd have liked him to have done is to he pulled his hands out of the way, didn't he? I'd have liked him to have try all he can to save it by throwing his arm at it rather than pulling his hand away. But I'm not blaming him. Some people may be blaming him, but I can't blame him for the goal. It's just a fantastic free kick. But to make an effort. All I'm saying is just make an effort. Try and save it. Right, Azpi.
He was a good captain. He was being a good captain, so I was just giving him average.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's average. The defence as a unit played really well, I thought. He wasn't spectacular. He wasn't bad. He caught out of position a couple of times. So, yeah, just an average for me, definitely. Alonso.
Average.
Yeah, I'll give him a low average. I worried about him coming up against Mane yesterday.
Sonny.
Not Mane,
Mahrez.
not Mahrez. Oh, sorry, Mahrez. Yeah, I worried about him coming up against Mahrez yesterday. He kind of, in the main, equipped himself okay, but then he gave away that silly free kick when I caught out of position a bit, but so he had to be really careful after that. And he did. He was quite careful, but. I still think we need an upgrade on that left-hand side. He still doesn't fill me with confidence. Right, Rudiger.
I'll give him probably a low average, maybe. I don't know. It wasn't really like anything special from him.
Yeah, mid-average for me. He did all right. Dominant in the air. Still worry about him on that left-hand side as well of the defence, and his ball distribution as well is a bit of a concern. But he kept the defence as a unit as well. He was part of that unit what kept Manchester City at bay for large portions of the game. So yeah, mid-average for me. Christensen.
I'll actually give him like a high average. It wasn't bad, or low good maybe.
High average. He was my man of the match. I give him a high good actually.
From low good.
I thought he was superb yesterday. He showed a lot of character. He was sound, solid defensively, made some great tackles. He took the ball, comfortable on the ball, and even when he had that, remember we had that shot where someone hit him in the head with that was it Mendy shot in the head, and he shot that.
Him in the head.
shot the ball in his head. Yeah, there was a gun shot, it was a ball shot. Yeah, had a shot in the head. But but I thought he showed a lot of determination. They didn't let that put him off his game. I thought he had a strong game throughout. So his best game for Chelsea actually. So he needs to do that more consistently for me, because in the past he's been a bit weak and off the ball. But mind you, he had it kind of easier because they didn't have. Who did they have up front? There's Sterling, Bernardo Silva, and Mahrez. They're not the most physical players, so I'd still like to see how he does when he comes up against a more physical centre forward. So that's what my concern is with him. Like when he comes up against the Troy Deeney's and people like that, how he equips himself. But yesterday he did well, so credit where credit's due. Man of the match for me. He was my man of the match. And Kante?
I'll give him a good.
Explain.
He was like made good tackles. He's good passing as well.
I'll give him a high average, maybe, because he's part of the reason why the defence stayed solid. So, but for me, there's a couple of things why he doesn't get a good. He was at fault for that. He gave away that silly free kick, didn't he? What led to De Bruyne's goal. That's the first thing. And also what he did, sometimes his ball distribution wasn't as good as it should be. His passing wasn't great at times. But as far as the DM, defensive midfielder, he did a job as a DM.
Actually, scoring the goal was actually good. Making him score the goal was good.
It's woke us up again, did it? Is that why?
No, also because I predicted 2-1.
Oh, yeah, but some another YouTube channel was saying that he's not a DM, but he is a DM. That's what DMs are meant to do. Defensive midfielders are meant to be there to protect your defence. So what he was saying was that he wasn't he was basing it on his passing, and he said he's not if he said he's not a regista, then fine, he's not a regista, because a regista is something that Jorginho does. It's more of someone who starts the play from the back, so from the midfield, who dictates the play and everything else. So no, he's not a DM, but he wasn't playing as, he's not a regista, but he wasn't playing as a regista, he was playing as a DM, and he did the job as a DM, what he's expected to do. So Mason Mount.
I'll give him a middle good.
Middle good. Okay.
But if I climbed him, it would have been good.
Low good for me. He was decent. He was high energy. He was up and down the pitch, but he would have got a better good for me had he had that more composure to finish that chance. He had that chance and he messed it up.
Because he sort of controlled it then, because I was moving, so it was going to be really hard.
Yeah. He's a good player, as I keep saying, but there is room for improvement. And if we want to get to the level of Manchester City and Liverpool, then he needs to up it up a bit, because Manchester City showed their quality in the middle of the park. They showed where we need to be if we want to be challenging again. And finally, he was the other it's Ross Barkley.
Give him a high average.
Yeah, reasons?
It was average, but good.
Well, you can't say anything more about that. Yeah, it was average. He did the job what he was meant to do. He wasn't spectacular in any way. He kept the ball moving, circulating. He had that one shot, didn't he, where it came off the defender. It wasn't that much of an attacking threat, but we were more on the counter attack. So he was on the periphery of things, I think. So did I say good? No, average. I said, yeah. For me, it was an average. So if we move back to the front three, let's go to Willian.
I'll give Willian like a low good. He's like running down the links, controlling the game a bit.
Yeah, well, for me, he's a mid good. I thought he's had 2 good games now for me. He was good against Aston Villa, and I thought he was good yesterday as well. So we needed that bit of experience. He gave us that bit of experience and Carl, and it was his run that led to the winner, the penalty that he scored, because he ran, he could have went down under the challenge, but then he crossed the ball, which created all that havoc. And On the counter he was quite good yesterday. His ball retention was good as well. So yeah, and plus when you think that he's shown a lot of professionalism as well, because this may be his last few matches for Chelsea, but he's always been a professional player for us. So yeah, I'll give him a good yesterday. I thought he was decent. Let's Giroud.
I'll give him a high average. Cause like he wasn't really like doing much. I didn't really see him that much.
Yeah, I'll give him an average, and for no fault of his own, though, Zane, he hasn't got the pace, has he? There was a couple of times, because we were playing on the breakaway, Manchester City like to play a really high line, so there was a couple of times where the ball was played for him, he had a yard on his defender, but they caught him quite easily. But it's not his fault that he's slow. So yeah, his lack of speed let him down on a few occasions. So this wasn't really the game for him, I wouldn't have thought, when we're trying to play counter-attacking football. But he did some hold-up plays, and he did that. His link-up play was quite good. Remember, he did that little flick? Yeah, and so he's still decent. He's still a decent link-up player. So for me, mid to high average. And finally, Pulisic then.
Well, not finally, but
no, for the first 11.
yeah, he's definitely a high good. He's my man of the match.
You're man of the match. Okay, explain.
Because he was doing good like breakaways, counter-attacking football. It was just brilliant play. Like he just someone like when he scored, someone passed the ball to him. He even had to do.
No, it was a mistake, wasn't it, by the defender? Remember?
No, never passed to him. But the defender was going to pass someone. But then he skilled out one defender, but he just literally turned another defender, and then just slot home coolly.
Yeah, I agree with you. I give him a very good. He ran me close. It was out of him and Christensen for the man of the match. But because I've been hard on Christensen in the past, I thought I'll give it to Christensen. But Pulisic, yeah, as you said,
And
you're quite.
No.
Go on, talk.
No, yeah, he had another chance, but Kyle Walker just.
Oh yeah, the one that got cleared off the line. Yeah, so he gave us everything. He stepped up to the plate. As I said in my match review yesterday, he's going to make it hard for the likes of Ziyech and Werner to take his space, because he's saying, you know what, I'm still around and I'm still going to be here. What I liked, it was his pace, his willingness to take on a player, and his work rate as well, because he was getting back as well and tracking back. And that goal, as you said, it was a nice burst of pace and a cool finish. So definitely gets a very good for me. Let's move on to the substitutes. So who was the first? Oh, Abraham.
I'm going to say he was medium average. I was going to say good average, but he wasn't on long enough to be like quite there yet.
Yeah.
Because he had a little pace on the ball, and then someone free passed to him. He did quite good.
Yeah, I'll put him at above average, because
above average,
just below average. Good, yeah, high average. Oof. Because when he came on, you could see the difference between him and Giroud, but we're able to play that ball over the top, and he used his pace, and immediately he worried the Manchester City back line with his pace. Sometimes his movement still can improve, but also I liked his energy, because it wasn't him shouting at the referee about the Fernandinho penalty. We may not have got that, because he's saying, come on, ref. So he was, and the referee then went over to the VAR. So he would have had a tap in there and had Fernandinho and not handled the ball anyway. So yeah, he did all right when he came on, so I'll give him a high average.
That was so blatant.
Right, who's the next one? Kovacic.
I give him. I didn't really notice he came on. Give him like average, between medium average and low average. Between.
Yeah, he was average. He came on, just did what he had to do. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just did what he had to do. Really, there's nothing spectacular, nothing bad.
Nothing
great. Yeah.
It's just average.
Who else came on? We had Billy Gilmore came on, didn't he?
Yeah.
And actually, you know what? Just for that ball alone, I'm going to give him above average. Although he's only on for a couple of minutes. That ball that he played to Pedro.
That was brilliant.
That ball to Pedro was fantastic.
Yeah, I'll give him
and that's, you know what? That alone deserves a high average. And Pedro, I'll give him a high average as well, because he could have scored, not for that brilliant save by their keeper Edison. You know, with that curler that he took, or he had, and he was busy. He came on and he looked busy. Yeah, and plus that, like what the same as Willian, he's going to move on, but he still showed his professionalism when he came on. So overall performance, what do you give the overall performance actually?
Out of 10.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a good, but out of 10, it's probably going to be. I want to give him a 10, but not everything was perfect, so I'm going to give him a 9.
Yeah.
Like, put more power onto that ball. It's kind of cleared. Kante shouldn't have given away back to the free kick.
Yeah, but as a performance, team performance, I'll give it an 8. It was really good, and I like the way Frank deserves an 8 as well. So Frank's now, he's beaten Jurgen Klopp in the cup, he's beaten Pep Guardiola, he's beaten Jose Mourinho. So you know, and this is he hasn't beaten him. He's the only one he hasn't beaten, and he's the worst of the lot, isn't he?
Yeah.
So
he's what's that guy's name again? The Arsenal manager?
anyone could be him.
It's not Emery.
Oh no, it was Arteta, because Emery had got sacked, didn't he? So yeah, that was Arteta's second game, I think. So yeah, but the way that he set the team up, we're getting tactically better now, because defensively we didn't go gung ho and leave open spaces. We were very tight, and we hit them on the counter. We know that the way to beat City is to hit them hard on the counter, and that's what we did. So yeah, so that's a great performance, lads. So let's just keep it up. Leicester and then West Ham.
You know what else?
And that's it. So until the next video, what you saying something?
You know what else you should keep up with blue flag? Keep going up.
Okay, until the next video, guys. See you later.
Like video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications to notify when I make a video. Share the video.
Take care. Bye bye.